CIET NCERT presents audiobook Interactions, activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10.
Page 37.
Chapter 16 World History.
Learning Outcomes 1.
Learners will be able to listen for gist, specific information, and detail in the given text.
2.
Learners will be able to have a discussion about stamps.
3.
Learners will be able to listen to the passage and answer questions based on it.
4.
Learners will be able to research about stamps and present information in class. Now, we will move to page 149 for the appendix of chapter 16.
Page 149.
Appendix 16. A stamp appears just like a piece of paper that takes a letter from one town or country to another. But a stamp collector draws immense pleasure in collecting them. Who are not interested in stamps, it may seem to be a waste of time, effort, and money. But they do not realize that it is a productive way of spending leisure time. And what better occupation is there to keep oneself busy than collecting stamps? All one needs is an album, a packet of hinges, a supply of stamps, and the time passes by swiftly and joyfully. Stamp collection has no limit. Countries are always printing and issuing new stamps to celebrate coronations, events, anniversaries, and deaths. The fascination of collecting stamps lies in trying to obtain them before one's rivals. Each stage of stamp collection has its own fascination. Receiving letters from distant places and countries, or discovering old stamps in the leaves of dusty old books. A stamp itself has a fascination of its own. Gazing at its little picture, one is transported to the wilds of the Congo, the homes of the Arabs, and the endless racks of the Sahara Desert. There is a history behind every stamp. The ancient Roman Empire, the Constitution of America, India's independence, and the Allied victory are all conveyed to our mind by means of stamps. We see famous men, printers, writers, scientists, soldiers, and politicians, and events. Stamps, so small and minute, contain knowledge that is vast and important. Now, we will move to page 37 for the activities of chapter 16.
Page 37. Warm up. A.
Discuss the following questions in class.
1.
What is a stamp?
2.
What are the informative parts of a stamp?
3.
How and when did stamps come into use?
4.
Why are there pictures on postage stamps?
5.
What is philately?
Activity 1. Listening. A.
Now, listen to the passage on stamps and answer the following questions.
1.
To a person who is not interested in stamps, collecting them seems like a waste of
A.
blank,
B.
blank,
C.
blank.
2.
Stamp collection is cheap because one requires only
A.
blank,
B.
blank,
C.
blank.
Page 38. 3.
Stamp collection has no limit because blank. Tick against the correct choice.
A.
Stamps are cheap.
B.
It is a good time pass.
C.
People always gift stamps.
D.
New stamps are always being printed.
4.
Stamps transport us to various places means that tick against the correct choice.
A.
We learn a lot about the history and geography of the world.
B.
We can spend time productively by sticking stamps.
C.
The pictures printed on them cannot be found elsewhere.
D.
The time is spent swiftly and joyfully.
B.
Match the columns. Column A.
1.
Stamp collection.
2.
Resources required.
3.
Printing of stamps.
4.
Information on stamps. Column B.
A.
Minimum.
B.
Numerous occasions.
C.
Abundant.
D.
Productive hobby.
Activity 2. Speaking. A.
Find out an interesting stamp. It could be from any country. Study the stamp and write down the information given on it. Which year was it printed? Which picture does it carry? What is the significance of the picture? Bring the stamp to the class, show it to your classmates, and talk about it. Chapter 16, World History, ends here.
Interactions. Activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10. You were just listening to this audiobook. Read by Akash and Kashfi Shamail. Recorded by Bati Langlingdo and Vikas Sangwan. Production assistants Tanu Gupta. Directed and produced by Vandana Arimardhan. This audiobook is presented to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.